So what are we talking today?
Well, open houses. So this is the thing. Like, an open house is a house that's open and you can walk through it, which is great. And it's pretty easy to have an open house, and you can have open houses for all kinds of things, right? But if you are selling real estate, or if you're going to a real estate that's being sold, there's a few things that you should know. And that's what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, and I think it's like really important, especially when you're starting to buy a house. You already got pre-approved. You went to that step. You also already, you know what's the places that you want to go or live, and you're, as a buyer, you're like, you start to get the little warm in there, just like, oh, I want to go and see, I want to see that, and then you pass by a neighborhood, and then you see an open sign, an open sign signed. And you're like, oh, let's go check it out. And you don't know much about the property, but you want to see it. So when you want to see it, what are the real things that you need to ask,
Yeah.
And right now, I mean, do you have to sign a paper to just go and check a house?
Kind of, yes.
Well, we're going to talk about that. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. So one of the first things that you need to figure out, I think, is like, okay, for how long the house has been in the market. Because you see the houses, and right now our average sale time is about a month, more or less, depending on the house. But you want to know if it's just listed, what happened with the house, right?
Right. Well, and then this is one of the things that can make a house stigmatized or less desirable, right? Without any real thing about the house, it can be less valuable because it sat on the market so long, because no one knows why it sat on the market so long.
Yeah.
So, or do they say, like, is this a make me move price?
Oh, yeah.
Or did it fall in and out of contract, or is it a really crappy house, but you don't know until you do your home inspection? So days on the market is really valuable information.
It's important. Sometimes what I've seen is that the house has been in the market for a little while. It went under contract. Everything was fine. But for some reason, the buyers couldn't pull up the credit or whatever, and it went back on the market, and then they're doing another open house. So you want to ask that to the realtor that is there doing the open house. How long has the house been in the market? And if they have any offers before, or if there's an open house now because they did a price reduction. That happens as well. So you want to know more about how that has been there, and what are the desires of the seller to sell the house.
That's what I really dig into. That if you can find out what is really the thing that they want to move for, like the house is haunted, it's burned down, it floods all the time, the wiring's horrible, it's burning down, someone died there. Like find out everything you can. Did they get a promotion, job transfer? Did they outgrow the house? Is the house too big for them? Find out what the pressure points are, and then find out like how soon do you want to move? Because I've seen and helped my clients get winning bids for the house because we can close faster, or they are able to be flexible with their move-in date. So like the seller has a new build and they have to move in, like they can't move into the new build for 3 months, so we're going to delay our closing and let them stay in there for a little while. Like find out what the pressure points is, because everybody thinks it's money off the get-go, and it's a factor but not always the factor.
It's not always a factor. It's really important to know that in the contract there's terms that can be changed in order to accommodate the seller and get the offer accepted, and that's always a really good idea. And when you go into an open house and you decide that that is your house, then ask all the things that you want to ask. One of the important things also is ask for the square footage, because so many times I've seen the houses and they're like, oh, it's perfect, and our clients are looking for, let's say, more than 3,000 square feet, and they go to a 3-level home, and they think it's going to be the same size because everything it's spread out or the floor plan is different, and they turns out to be 2,500 square feet. And it's a really good floor plan. It works for you, but is it going to impact your taxes? Is it going to be something that it's important for you? Is it going to change anyway in the future? Can you add more to that? Can you do anything with the yard if it's that big, or figure out the square footage, figure out the acreage. I mean, it helps.
Get the dimensions too, because like sometimes it helps when it's staged, but sometimes it can hurt because a stager will go in and say like, oh, this is a giant room. I'm going to put a giant sofa in here to make it look comfortable and cozy. Or this is a really small room. I'm going to put some really small furniture in here. Like, will your stuff fit and will it function the way you want it to?
Yeah, something that I've seen that I think is kind of funny with the stagers is that they put a table that is shorter than the measurements of a bed, but it kind of looks like a bed and it looks perfect.
Yeah.
And so, because they don't have to really put real furniture, they just have to make
really
it
common.
look. And it's just like, you think, oh yeah, my king size is going to fit perfectly here. And then you figure out, oh, I can barely fit a full.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So
that's the thing. If a house is staged, don't jump on the bed. I've sat on a bed before. That was a table.
There was a table.
Looked
Yes.
really comfortable.
Yes, don't do that. Be careful. Double check. And then have you seen those houses that are like just remodel and they're like, they have the best looking appliances? Are they really the best appliances?
Yeah. Well, so ask other details too, like when did you get the home? Who's built by? Did you do anything fun or neat? Like what appliances are coming with the house? Because just because you see a home with things in it doesn't mean those things come with the home. I mean, some things are negotiable in the contract, but if you love the way all the appliances look, the only appliance that needs to be in the home upon the transfer of ownership is the stove. And it doesn't even need to be the stove that's there as long as there's a stove there. So
yeah. Sometimes the owners decide I've paid everything to get this particular stove, and when there's the open house, the stove is still there, and people think, oh, that stove is going to be the one that stays with the house. Awesome, because it's a really expensive, really fancy stove. And then it turns out that when they go into the contract, they say, yeah, we'll include a stove, not that stove, right? And so you want to ask if the appliances that are there are going to stay, or if they're going to be any difference, or are they going to change them, or what is the plan with that?
Then also, like, what was remodeled when, right? So did you do it? Was it done by a professional? The most common thing, and like the house I have now, the basement's finished, but it definitely wasn't professionally done. So check into that, and then another thing is like check if it has a permit, because when I finished a basement in one of my homes and I got it permitted, and I learned a lot. Like I'd helped a few people finish their basement, so I knew the basics. But when the inspector came through and he's like, "Well, where's your fireproofing here and that and the other?" I was like,
"Oh yeah, doors, for example. There's certain doors. Like if it goes outside, you have to put a certain type of door, and that all comes if the remodel has been permitted. If it doesn't, then they can all put whatever they want, and nobody's gonna say anything. Nobody notice it. But at the time of sale, then your inspector, whoever is there, is gonna notice it. And so you want to know who did the remodel and what they put into it, what type of materials they used, how long it was, and if also like the important things in the house like electricity, plumbing, gas, all those were touched or not. Because sometimes the house can be amazing. It looks like brand new, but it was built on 1970 and it still has the electricity and the plumbing of 1970. So ask. It's easy to ask, right?
Yeah. So while you're asking what's been renovated where and when, make sure you're checking with the water heater, the HVAC, the swamp cooler, all of that. Yeah. How long has it been there? Have you had any problems? Like you can get a home warranty that'll cover a lot of things during the first year, but even then they have particulars on their coverage. Yeah. So find out what you're working with. Ask a lot of questions, because the thing is, humans base their decision on emotion, and if it's a beautiful house, you may get excited and overlook a lot of things that are financially significant.
Yeah, especially like appliances, like we were talking about a minute ago. Appliances are important. And if that's the thing that you can see, imagine how important is a HVAC system or AC. I mean, right now we think, it's nice, it's winter, so we don't think about the AC. But give it a couple months, and then you will be thinking about the AC and how, oh my gosh, I should not let them stick, or have the swamp cooler. I should have asked for the AC. And that is like something that happens because, like you were saying, we are emotionally attached to it the moment that we see it, because we had like, some sort of memory that brings us joy, and that makes it so becomes the perfect home. But at the same time, you have to be logic and think on what is real and what are you paying for, especially. And talking about what I'm paying for, I mean, talk about the taxes and insurance that you have to pay with that.
And HOAs.
And HOAs, like you could love the townhome where that you found, and it's amazing, and it has super cool pool because it's enclosed and everything looks perfect, but then you figure out that the HOA, it's also really high because of the different things that they have to maintain, or is really high because they just recently changed all the roofs. So having a new roof is good. Having a high HOA might not be the thing that you're looking for.
The other thing is check on houses. Right now, I've got a transaction that's open. We are just coming up on the financing appraisal deadline, and the buying agent, the agent representing the buyers, just found out, because the listing agent just found out, because the buyer did their title report, and there's an HOA on it, on a house.
Oh yeah.
So you never know.
Yeah. Same thing with CCNR. Sometimes you think, it's going to be great, I can add a room in the back or whatever, and then it turns out that no, your CCNR does not allow you to add or to, expand your home. So it's important to know, and that's one of the things that the listing agent should know and should let you know. And if you're there checking, it's better to ask any and everything possibility, any questions that you have, any little thoughts that come to you, then they're the perfect person to answer, because they're trying to sell the house. Now, something that has come up recently is like, do I have to sign anything to go into an open house? And the answer for that is no. You don't have to sign anything to go check a house.
Why is it different? Because like if I was going to hire you to be my agent, then I have to sign something.
Yes.
So what's the difference between an open house and seeing houses with an agent?
So the difference is, because you're just going to the open house to see the house, then is the responsibility of the seller agent to show you the house without giving you extra information or implied anything that you are going to work with him. So he's working for the seller, and because his only purpose is to sell that house, he should let you in without having to sign anything. Now, if you want to put an offer on that house, then the things change completely. Then you either get your own buyer's agent agreement with somebody else that you trust and like, and that is going to fight for you to get that house. Or you just, sign one with the person that is selling the house and see what happens, right?
That's best interest is with the sellers.
Yeah, which best interest is with the seller, exactly. So the answer for that is no, but at the same time, a lot of these questions that are important for you, they are not going to be answered completely for the seller agent, because either he doesn't know them or he's barely looking into that information. And the best way to ask for those questions is to your buyer agent, to your own agent. And that's the recommendation, is just to find your agent that you like and trust, and know that he's going to be doing the better job for you. And if you like the house, you can give him a call, and maybe you can even preview it before the open house. Or during the open house, you bring your own buyer, and then he can ask all those difficult questions, because sometimes it's difficult to keep asking, and it's nicer to just ask to one person that you know than to ask somebody that you just met.
Yeah. So we talked about it briefly in this video of like the HOAs, and we'll find out through the title report. So next time, let's talk about like, what is a title report? What are title policies? Like the difference between lenders and an owner, stuff like that.
Yeah, let's do that.